If you haven't already seen part 1 of this video where I show how to remove the charge port on this Lenovo laptop, go ahead and check it out so that you can catch up, and we'll start where we left off. Alright, so I finally got the correct charge port. As you can see, it does fit. And there's two things that I like to do. I like to prep both the board side and the actual port itself. To do the port's very simple. Just like the other one, I'm going to add a bunch of flux to the pins. So I want to tin them. Get out my soldering iron with a little bit of solder on the tip. And I'm just going to quickly drag across all of the pins, turning them from that gold to silver, just like so. And then I'm going to add some flux to the plastic that's exposed on the backside, because during the reflow, if you heat this up too much, you can start melting the plastic. And I probably won't melt the plastic because I've done it enough, but it's a really good idea to shield the plastic with flux. It will insulate it to a certain degree. Now, board back into view, add some flux, and I'm going to get a little bit of solder paste here on the end of my little ball tool, and we're going to spread it around and distribute it evenly on all of the pads. And there we go, we've got a nice even distribution of solder. I'm going to wipe away the excess, and then we'll add back a little bit of flux to help prevent oxidation. Now I'm going to come in from below with the hot air, and we're going to heat up the motherboard. Till everything's melted, and then we'll overlay the charge port, let things kind of solder down. Then we'll pull the heat away, let things cool down, and I'm going to come in with the iron, and we're going to quickly tack some of these legs to secure the port in place. Now you'll see it went into the holes, but if I add flux, it's going to ride up onto the legs, and that's what I'm looking for, is some movement up onto the legs, just like that. That way I know that it's nice and secure. Let me show you the difference here, doing it with or without flux. So if I come to this side, we try to apply the solder. Nothing wants to get pulled down into that hole. It'll stick to some of the metal, but if I go to the other side with the flux, you see it immediately sticks to everything that had flux on it, and I'm actually able to get it to sink down into that hole there. So if I go back in with flux on this side and I heat it up, all of a sudden it wants to do the same thing. We haven't yet got all the way through the hole. We're going to flip over the board and do that. I also want to just get a visual on all of the pins, making sure they had a nice solid connection. And they do. Nicely connected to each one of those pins. Alright, we'll flip it over. We'll add some flux to all of the legs. And then we'll add some solder to the through holes. And what's nice is if you look at the plastic on the back of the charge board, it didn't melt because I was able to control the flow of temperature, the airflow, and the temperature. Now the flux that I'm working with, it doesn't discolor easily, but the flux that encapsulate the solder face that I'm using, it does. So it gets really dark real fast, which is kind of annoying. I like the way that the solder melts. I don't like the way that it leaves kind of the burnt flux behind. So now I'm going to take the time to add some alcohol, and we'll clean up the area, getting rid of all of the flux and make it nice and pretty. Alright, that side's clean, and now we'll go and do the same to the other side. Now all we have to do is go and test it before installing it back inside the laptop. Alright, so now that we have that port replaced, let's go ahead and test it. We'll turn on our little iBridge tester, and we'll connect it up. And last time we were seeing obviously signs of damage and some red, and this time we hope to see all green. And there we go. We've got all of the values that I typically see, so I know that this port is installed correctly and there's no other issues. So now we can take off the Captain tape and we can reinstall this back into the frame. Now, I know I didn't show disconnecting everything, but I want you to get an idea of what we have to reconnect. We've got flex cables, speakers, coax cables, antennas. There's the display connectors here, antenna connectors, Wi-Fi modules. There's a bunch of flexes that we have to make sure we don't miss when we go back to install this. So I want to take my time when I reinstall this, making sure we don't miss any of that. And now that I've verified that everything's above it, we just need to go and connect them. And some of these didn't even connect to anything, like this guy didn't even connect to anything. But we still want to put them back. All right, now that everything's connected back up, we'll put back the screws, and it's really easy to determine where they are because they have these little white arrows, as there's like plenty of places that look like they go there. The only place they really go is where these little white arrows are. And there's only 4 of them, so we'll put them all back. We'll put back the bracket here and this one on top of here, and we'll put back the 3 screws that belong to that bracket. I forgot that one's for the back case. It's these 3. Don't forget the tray here. Now before I install the battery, let's get the keyboard reinstalled. This one's really dirty. Maybe I should take the time to clean it. It's definitely seen a little bit of liquid, so yeah, let me take the time to quickly clean this up before installing it. Take some isopropyl alcohol, and we'll just sit here for a few minutes going back and forth, getting rid of all the gunk. All right, that is a ton better. So let's go ahead and connect back up the keyboard. All right, that's in. So we'll flip down the flaps, clean that up a little bit, and we'll install the top and then slide the bottom down. And now we can tighten up these screws. The hinge system that holds this together is really neat with these 2 screws. They just spin until they get tight and it sucks everything down tight. All right, we'll go ahead and clip back in these 2 guys. Go ahead and give the trackpad a good cleaning. All right, that looks a ton better. And let's flip this back over. Actually take some time to, I'm just in the cleaning mood. Let me clean up this display. That is much better. Now we can install the battery. Now we can put the back cover back on. All right, after tightening all of those screws down and everything clicking into place, now we can go ahead and charge it and watch it turn on. All right, we've got a charging light. I'm gonna go charge this up for a little bit and we'll test it out. And it's all fixed and charging once again. As you can see, the process is somewhat complicated. Obviously, you have to have the right parts and the right tools to do it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If there's something that you'd like to see in a future video, let me know as well. Thanks a ton for watching. We'll see you in the next video.